So Dan Henderson is on the Jackson podcast, Jaxxon. It's with this dude and Rampage, Jackson, the fighter, and the thing of steroids comes up, right? And this is what I hate, okay, about maybe the general public doesn't realize, but everybody on an exercise commercial that's sliced and diced, and especially white, is pretty much on the sauce, okay? They're sticking a needle in them, in themselves, you know what I mean? And other shit. And today there's so many, I don't even want to get into all that. But so here's the thing. Dan Henderson comes up on the subject of, steroids. Give me a minute, please. Comes up on the subject of steroids, and he's like, yeah, when there was a time in the UFC when testosterone was, you were able to take it, through a doctor. And of course, dudes abused it, like Vitor Belfort and a few other people. And they took everything else, like human growth hormone and, shit we don't even know about. But so Dan Henderson does this little fucking trick. It's like when the cops pull you over, he goes, yeah, I asked the UFC when it was legal if I could take it. And I found out it was like replacing my regular hormones. So it was like, so dude, you were a high school wrestler, a college wrestler, and you were an Olympic wrestler, and no one ever pulled out a needle, and you never came across you never heard about testosterone. You never, in the 80s and shit, when people were doping like Rocky was, and all these action heroes and shit, and you had these after school specials about roid rage and shit. And it's like, no, I didn't know this fucking guy. Will you give me a minute, Tommy? I'm coming to see you, baby. I'm coming to see you. Just can't. I'm going to come see you. Give me a minute, okay? I can't just do it every second. I've got a life. Not really, but I do. Just give the dog a bath. So, acting like, yeah, I heard about testosterone. I didn't know what it was. It's like Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock's, stepbrother or whatever he is. And Ken Shamrock acting like, as ripped and veiny and fucking Incredible Hulkish looking they were. They never took, you guys just ate spinach like Popeye. It's like the Hulk, in wrestling, Hulkamania, whatever his name is. I don't even know off the top of my head. But it's like, all you little Hulksters out there need to take your vitamins and and say your prayers. And yeah, that's not what the fuck is going on. Like every commercial you see, even Jennifer Lopez, to you name it, is going to an anti-aging clinic. Like, I've always been open with my use of testosterone and other stuff that I've gotten through my anti-aging clinic, because I have low testosterone and it's not going to come back to normal ever. So I don't act like I don't take anything. You know what I mean? I get blood work done twice a year, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to talk about all that. It's kind of boring for people that don't know what that is. But they check all my levels. I got an hour and a half consultation coming up where we talk about everything from my liver enzymes to, but this isn't about me. But I'm just saying, yeah, you're not going to take steroids. So you go on the steroids, right? And then all of a sudden when the UFC says, hey, enough, too many people are abusing this and we can't, it was a bad idea. So you just quit doing it when you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in income, $500,000 a year and fighting alone and whatever else. And you're going to just go, oh yeah, I'm just going to stop, I hate to break it to most people. It's like Cowboy Cerrone acting like he's getting paid by a testosterone clinic to rep their testosterone, and he's acting like this is the first time I've ever taken it. Bro, look at all these dudes, okay? Every single one of them, from your football play. You don't need to look like you use it to be using it, They use it for healing. They use it for, inflammation. They use it for training purpose, they use it to give them a little extra boost, you know what I mean, in recovery. And, I just hate, the fucking lie. I personally, and I'm just gonna, I know this is already 5 minutes, but I personally, I'll just tell you this. I think the fucking first humans, like, were built like the Incredible Hulk, but maybe more like 6 foot, 7 foot tall. And all these steroids are identical, bioidentical, kind of like to the testosterone amino branch, you know, poly whatever chain of atoms and molecules. I'm beyond my fucking scope of 10th grade chemistry, but it's like, so they had to take testosterone out of us to synthesize it. That's my speech impediment that they never fixed in third grade. I was in speech therapy with a dude named Brett who had an Iron Maiden shirt on all the time and used to play with yarn. He literally would go like this in class the whole time. He'd be like this. He'd be like playing with string. That's who I was fucking hanging out with. Mrs. Farrington, thank you for nothing. Because I still can't say synthesize without sounding like a fucking idiot. But all these dudes, it's kind of like implied that they're taking it in some of these podcasts I listen to. It's like, I was listening a long time ago to the Joe Rogan podcast, which I fucking cannot stand, that little meatball-headed fuck. Just a fucking liar that he is. And Conor, what is his name? Not Conor McGregor, but some dude, some strong man, I forget his name. Big dude with a beard, and, he just, I don't know, anyways, they'll come to me later on when it's not important. But he's like, oh, yeah, I'm 400 pounds, and I'm a natural athlete. And dude, you're not lifting 800 pounds with one pinky over your head and being a natural athlete. Even if you don't look like it, all these dudes, from Brian Shaw, and I'm not saying it to throw people under the bus. I truly believe that these steroids that they used from taking our blood and our fucking hormones and put them into a laboratory setting and added, their fallen angel technology. And that's why men look more and more feminine today, because less and less testosterone is coming out of the fucking embryo or the seminal fluid that is you're created with. And you look at kids today compared to kids of my generation, and, they're just, I'm not saying it to be mean, but I just kind of feel like they've engineered us. Nice. You just got a bath. Come on. They've engineered us to be more sickly and more weak, and that's why they don't want you. Because they didn't want us to be the original men like my grandfather was in the 30s and 40s. That's when dudes were built. You know what I mean? Because they had to do manual labor. Today, we're all soft and fat from fructose syrup and fucking carbs and everything else. But I believe that these alien abductions, they're coming for our DNA and our semen and everything else. And I think they're making it, I'm not trying to sound like a kook here, but I believe that they're making the human race more and more and more, less threatening to them, because you look at dudes that aren't on testosterone or have low testosterone, they're not a threat. They're like women, they literally will, look at the generations today. Look at the fucking liberalism. Look at the fucking bullshit that is going on today. That's all because men have just lost their balls. You know what I mean? Men have just gotten to be pushovers, and it's not even biblical. I don't even want to get into all that, but I'm just saying, like, the man of the house, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Like, it's very hard. I feel bad for people today because there's a lot of males. There's not a lot of men. Anyways, it's a lot longer than I plan on talking. Everybody's lying about steroids. I remember the Barry Bonds fiasco and blah, 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 blah. He used to look like a little nerd. And then, boom, he's built like fucking a big linebacker all of a sudden. And he's just trying to say he took some shit from GNC. Wake up. You don't see anybody getting popped in the NFL for steroids or anything like that. There's a reason why these quadrillionaire slave owners, because that's what these NFL players are, they're racehorses. They want them on all the sauces that they can put them on because that guarantees billions of income and Super Bowl champions and them healing faster and everything else.